My name is Eddie Vaughn, and I fix things for a living. Wi-Fi routers, security cameras, smart doorbells, anything that connects people to their digital lives. The irony isn't lost on me that I can troubleshoot everyone else's connections while my own marriage short-circuits daily. I'm 40 years old, drive a beat-up Honda Civic with toolboxes rattling in the back, and live in Maplewood Heights, one of those suburban neighborhoods where everyone pretends their grass is greener and their marriages are stronger. The kind of place where backyard barbecues are performance art and gossip travels faster than fiber optic internet. My wife Vivian is 34 and everything I'm not. She's got 15,000 Instagram followers who hang on her every post about authentic living and finding your truth. She spends her days arranging flowers for photos and her evenings editing videos about our perfect life together. The woman could make a grocery store receipt look aspirational. Eddie, did you remember to clean the grill? Vivian calls from the kitchen, her voice carrying that edge it gets when she's preparing for company. Tonight's the monthly neighborhood barbecue, hosted by yours, truly, because our backyard has the best lighting for her social media content. Already done, I reply, checking the security camera feed on my tablet. I installed cameras around our property last year after a string of break-ins. Now I use them mainly to monitor delivery packages and avoid conversations with neighbors I don't want to see. The first guests arrive at 6 sharp. Chad Roper and his wife Tamara live 3 houses down in the biggest home on the block. Chad sells real estate and never lets anyone forget it. He drives a BMW, wears polo shirts that cost more than my monthly car payment, and has the kind of confidence that comes from never being told no. Eddie, my man. Chad slaps my back hard enough to rattle my teeth. Beautiful evening for a barbecue, though I guess any evening's beautiful when you're living the dream, right? I force a smile. Living something, that's for sure. Chad laughs like I've made the funniest joke he's ever heard. His wife Tamara gives me a tight smile before disappearing into the house to find Vivian. She's gotten quieter over the past few months, and I've noticed the way she watches Chad when she thinks no one's looking. More neighbors filter in. Tommy Carter, my best friend since high school, arrives with a cooler of beer and his latest girlfriend, a dental hygienist named Lisa, who seems nice enough. Tommy works construction and has the kind of practical wisdom that comes from solving real problems with real solutions. How's business, Eddie? He asks, handing me a beer. Can't complain. Everyone's got something that needs fixing these days. Including marriages? Tommy raises an eyebrow. He's got a sixth sense for trouble. Before I can answer, Vivian appears with her usual entourage. Stacy, Renee, and Maya. They call themselves the Maplewood Mavens and treat our barbecues like episodes of a reality show they're starring in. Stacy immediately starts taking photos of the food spread, angling for the perfect shot. This looks amazing, Viv. Your followers are going to eat this up. It's all about the presentation, Vivian says, adjusting a serving spoon for the 3rd time. Eddie grilled everything perfectly. I watch her perform, wondering when she started talking about me like I'm hired help. The woman I married 8 years ago used to laugh at her own mistakes and order pizza when dinner didn't turn out right. Now she curates every moment like it's going in a museum. As the evening progresses, I notice things. The way Chad finds excuses to stand near Vivian. How she lights up when he compliments her potato salad. The meaningful glances they exchange when they think no one's watching. But I'm always watching. It's my job. Around 9 o'clock, most of the neighbors have gone home, leaving just the core group. Chad's had too much to drink, and his usual filter has completely disappeared. You know what, Eddie? He says, swaying slightly as he points at me with his beer bottle. You're a lucky man. Vivian here, she's special. Real special. I'm aware, I say carefully. I mean, if I wasn't married... Chad trails off, grinning. Well, let's just say you better treat her right, because there are plenty of us who would step up if you don't. The conversation around us dies. Tommy shifts uncomfortably. Vivian's face turns red, but she doesn't say anything to shut Chad down. That tells me everything I need to know. Good thing you are married, then, I reply evenly. Chad laughs, but there's something mean in it. Yeah, good thing. Later, after everyone's gone and Vivian's in the shower, I sit in my home office reviewing the security footage from tonight. I installed cameras with audio recording, perfectly legal on my own property. What I find makes my stomach drop. At 8:47 p.m., while I was inside getting more ice, Chad cornered Vivian by the garden shed. The audio is crystal clear. When are you going to tell him? Chad's voice comes through my speakers. I can't yet. The timing has to be right. We can't keep sneaking around forever, Viv. I want to be with you properly. I know. Just give me a little more time. Then they kiss. Right there in my backyard, 10 feet from where I was grilling burgers for the neighborhood. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. I watch the timestamp tick by as they hold each other, whispering things I can't quite make out. When they break apart, Vivian smooths her hair and walks back toward the patio like nothing happened. I sit back in my chair, processing what I've just seen. 8 years of marriage, and this is how it ends. Not with a conversation or even a fight, but with me watching my wife kiss another man on a security camera like some sad private investigator. The shower stops running upstairs. Soon Vivian will come down in her robe, probably kiss my cheek, and ask if I had fun tonight. She'll post photos from the barbecue tomorrow with captions about gratitude and community and living your best life. But now I know the truth, and in my line of work, information is power. I copy the video file to a secure drive and start planning. Chad wants to play games? Fine, but he's about to learn that the quiet guy who fixes everyone's technology knows a lot more about their secrets than they realize. The game is on. I don't sleep much that night. Instead, I lie in bed next to Vivian, listening to her breathe and thinking about everything I thought I knew about my life. She sleeps peacefully, like someone without a care in the world, like someone who hasn't just blown up her marriage in high-definition video. The next morning, she's up early, already dressed and applying makeup at her vanity. I'm meeting the girls for brunch, she announces without looking at me. Maya found this new place that's supposed to be very Instagram-worthy. Sounds fun, I manage. She kisses my cheek, the same cheek she probably kissed after being with Chad, and heads out. I watch from the window as she backs out of the driveway in her white SUV, probably already thinking about which filter will make her mimosa look most appealing. My phone buzzes. Tommy. You looked ready to punch someone last night. Everything okay? Can you come over? I need to show you something. 20 minutes later, Tommy's sitting in my office watching the security footage. His expression gets darker with each second. That piece of garbage, he mutters. Right in your own backyard. It gets worse. I pull up my phone records. Look at this. I show him Vivian's call log, dozens of calls to Chad's number over the past 2 months, usually when I'm at work. Text messages deleted immediately after sending, a pattern so obvious I feel stupid for not seeing it sooner. How long do you think this has been going on? Tommy asks. Hard to say, but I'm going to find out. Tommy leans back in his chair. What are you planning, Eddie? I'm going to give them exactly what they want, exposure. I spend the rest of the day digging. Chad's real estate license has 2 complaints filed against it in the past year. His social media is full of photos from expensive restaurants and weekend trips that seem beyond what a small-town realtor should afford. His marriage to Tamara has been rocky for months, according to neighborhood gossip I previously ignored. Vivian's online presence tells a different story than her real life. All those posts about date nights with me were actually solo dinners she ate while I worked late. The couple's workout videos were filmed with strategic angles to hide the fact that I wasn't there. My wife has been living a lie for months and broadcasting it to thousands of strangers. Monday morning, I'm installing a new security system for Mrs. Henderson 3 blocks over when my phone rings. It's my boss, Ms. Duran. Eddie, I need you to come in. We have a situation. Her tone makes my stomach clench. What kind of situation? Just come in, now. I drive to the office with a growing sense of dread. Ms. Duran is waiting in the conference room with HR representative Janet Mills. This can't be good. Eddie, we received some concerning information about you over the weekend, Ms. Duran begins. Anonymous tips suggesting you've been using your access to client homes inappropriately. My mouth goes dry. What kind of tips? Someone claims you've been copying personal information from client computers, possibly for identity theft purposes. They also suggested you've been installing unauthorized surveillance equipment. That's completely false. I would never... I know, Ms. Duran interrupts, which is why we're handling this internally first, but we need to investigate. You're suspended with pay pending a full review of your recent installations and client interactions. I sit there, stunned. How long will this take? Hopefully just a few days, but Eddie, if we find any evidence supporting these claims, she doesn't need to finish. I'd lose my job, my reputation, probably face criminal charges. Can you tell me anything about who made these reports? Anonymous tip line. Could be anyone. But I know exactly who it was. I drive home in a daze. Vivian's car is in the driveway, which is unusual for a Monday afternoon. I find her in the living room, pacing while talking on the phone. I know, it's terrible, she's saying. I just hope they figure out what really happened before anyone gets hurt. She sees me and quickly ends the call. You're home early, she observes. Suspended pending investigation. Someone reported me for theft and illegal surveillance. Her face shows perfect surprise and concern. If I didn't know better, I'd believe she was genuinely shocked. That's awful. Who would do such a thing? I have some ideas. She moves closer, putting her hand on my arm. I'm sure it will all work out. You're honest and hardworking. Everyone knows that. The performance is flawless. Supportive wife, standing by her man in his time of crisis. I wonder if she's already planning the social media post about overcoming adversity together. That evening, I get a text from Chad. Heard about your work troubles. Tough break, buddy. Let me know if you need any advice on career transitions. The smugness practically drips through the phone screen, but Chad made a mistake. He's assuming I'm the same passive guy who just stood there while he disrespected me at my own barbecue. He thinks he's won. He's about to learn otherwise. I call Tommy. Remember that time in high school when you recorded Coach Peterson yelling at the ref? Yeah, why? Do you still have that old audio recorder? Somewhere in my garage. Why? Because I think it's time Chad and Vivian had an honest conversation about their future, and I think the whole neighborhood should hear it. Tuesday morning, I wake up with purpose for the first time in months. Vivian's already gone, another business meeting that I now realize is probably breakfast with Chad. She's getting sloppy, or maybe she just doesn't care anymore if I notice. Tommy arrives with his old digital recorder, a device small enough to fit in a shirt pocket but powerful enough to pick up conversations from across a room. You sure about this? He asks as I test the equipment. They destroyed my reputation and my marriage. I'm just evening the score. How do you know they'll even talk about it? Because people like Chad can't help bragging, and Vivian needs constant validation. Put them together, and they'll spill everything. The plan is simple. Vivian mentioned meeting the girls at Cafe Luna downtown, the same place she's been having her secret meetings with Chad. I'll be there first, positioned where I can record whatever they discuss. I arrive at Cafe Luna 30 minutes early, choosing a corner table with a clear view of the entrance. The recorder goes in my jacket pocket, aimed toward the seating area where Vivian usually sits for her Instagram photos. At 11:15, Chad walks in. He looks around nervously before taking a table near the window. 5 minutes later, Vivian arrives, greeting him with a hug that lasts too long for just friends. I'm too far away to hear their conversation, but their body language tells the story. Vivian's animated, gesturing with her hands. Chad keeps looking around, paranoid. They're planning something. After 20 minutes, they get up to leave. This is my chance. I follow them outside, staying back but keeping the recorder running. They stop beside Chad's BMW, and their voices carry clearly in the morning air. Can't keep pretending forever, Chad is saying, especially with Eddie getting suspicious. He doesn't suspect anything. He's too busy feeling sorry for himself about work. You're sure those anonymous reports will stick? Vivian laughs. Please, I've been watching him work for years. I know exactly what to say to make it sound credible. My hands clench into fists, but I keep recording. What about Tamara? Vivian asks. She's been asking questions, but she doesn't have proof. Besides, once Eddie's out of the picture, we can be more open about things. I can't wait. I'm so tired of pretending to be the supportive wife. Do you know how exhausting it is to act like I care about his boring job and his boring friends? Soon, baby. Soon we'll have everything we want. They kiss again, right there on Main Street where anyone could see them. The arrogance is breathtaking. I wait until they drive away before heading home. The recording is perfect. Clear audio of them admitting to the false reports against me, discussing their affair, and planning their future together. But I'm not ready to play this card yet. First, I need more ammunition. That afternoon, I drive to Chad's real estate office. His assistant, a young woman named Jennifer, recognizes me from neighborhood events. Hi, Mr. Vaughn. How can I help you? I'm thinking about selling my house, I lie smoothly. Chad mentioned he might be interested in listing it. Oh, that's wonderful. Let me check his schedule. While she's looking at her computer, I glance around the office. Chad's desk is visible through his glass-walled office, covered with files and contracts. His computer screen shows what looks like financial documents. He's in meetings all afternoon, but I could schedule you for tomorrow morning? Actually, could I just leave him a note? We're neighbors, so it's pretty informal. Of course. She hands me a notepad and turns back to her computer. While she's distracted, I quickly photograph the documents visible on Chad's desk with my phone. Real estate contracts, bank statements, what looks like loan applications. I scribble a quick note about wanting to discuss listing options and leave it on his desk, getting a closer look at his paperwork in the process. One document catches my eye, a loan application for $150,000 dated last month. The reason listed is business expansion, but the amount seems high for a small-town realtor's office. I snap a photo and get out of there before anyone notices. Back home, I examine the photos more carefully. Chad's been taking out significant loans over the past 6 months. His bank statements show large cash deposits that don't match his real estate commissions. Either he's got a side business I don't know about, or he's in financial trouble. My phone buzzes with a text from Vivian. Working late tonight. Don't wait up. Right. Working. But this gives me an opportunity. I call Tamara Roper. Eddie, is everything okay? I was wondering if we could talk about Chad and Vivian. Long pause. I think that would be a good idea. Can you come over? Tamara's house is immaculate, like something from a magazine. She leads me to her kitchen, where she's already got coffee brewing. How long have you known? She asks without preamble. I have video from last week's barbecue. How long have you known? Months. The late meetings, the phone calls, the way he looks at her. She pours coffee with shaking hands. I hired a private investigator. She slides a manila folder across the table. Inside are photographs of Chad and Vivian together, entering a hotel, kissing in his car, shopping for what looks like an engagement ring. They've been planning this for a while, Tamara continues. The investigator thinks they're waiting for the right moment to leave their spouses simultaneously. What about Chad's finances? Is he in trouble? Tamara's laugh is bitter. Trouble doesn't begin to cover it. He's been borrowing against future commissions, taking out personal loans, even mortgaging this house without telling me. I think he's been trying to impress Vivian with money he doesn't have. So he's broke? Worse than broke. If his current deals fall through, we could lose everything. I think about the loan documents I photographed. What if those deals did fall through? What do you mean? I mean, what if Chad's clients knew about his financial situation? What if they knew he was lying about his assets and stability? Tamara stares at me. That would destroy his reputation. No one would trust him to handle their biggest investment. Exactly. I leave Tamara's house with copies of the private investigator's report and a new ally in my war against Chad and Vivian. But more importantly, I have a plan. Chad thinks he can destroy my career and steal my wife. He's about to learn that I know how to hit back where it really hurts. His wallet. Wednesday morning, I put my plan into motion. The first step is reaching out to Chad's current clients, information I gathered from the documents on his desk and Tamara's private investigator files. I start with the Hendersons, who are selling their family home to move closer to their grandchildren. I've done security work for them, so they trust me. Mrs. Henderson, I hope I'm not overstepping, but I thought you should know something about Chad Roper's financial situation. What do you mean, Eddie? He's been taking out significant loans and may be in financial trouble. I thought you'd want to know before you trust him with your home sale. I don't lie or exaggerate. I simply share the facts. The loan applications, the discrepancies between his lifestyle and reported income, the concerns about his stability. Mrs. Henderson is quiet for a long moment. Thank you for telling me. We'll look into this. I make similar calls to 3 other clients. By noon, Chad's phone is probably ringing nonstop. Next, I visit the local bank where Chad took out his most recent loan. The branch manager, Mike Torres, knows me from my security system installations. Eddie, good to see you. What can I do for you? I'm concerned about a neighbor who may be in financial distress. Chad Roper. He's been acting strangely, and I'm worried he might be in over his head. I can't discuss specific client information, but... Mike leans closer. Let's just say your concern isn't misplaced. Is there a specific reason you're asking? He's been pressuring people in our neighborhood to make quick real estate decisions, high-pressure tactics that don't seem like his usual style. Mike nods grimly. I appreciate you bringing this to my attention. By Thursday, the effects of my campaign are visible. Chad's BMW isn't in his driveway when it usually is. Tamara tells me he's been having crisis meetings with his business partners. But Vivian doesn't know any of this yet. She's still planning her future with a man whose world is crumbling. Thursday evening, I get my chance to record them again. They're meeting at Riverside Park this time, probably thinking they're being more discreet. I position myself on a bench about 50 feet away, pretending to read while the recorder captures their conversation. Don't understand why everyone's suddenly questioning my finances, Chad is saying. He sounds stressed, angry. What do you mean? Vivian asks. 3 clients pulled out today. 3. They're all asking about my loan situation and my business stability. How would they know about that? I have no idea, but someone's been talking. This could ruin everything, Viv. If I can't close these deals, we'll figure it out. Maybe this is a sign that we should just come clean about us, leave our spouses and start fresh somewhere else. With what money? I need these commissions to pay off my loans. Without them, I'm finished. I can hear the panic in his voice. Good. There has to be something we can do, Vivian says. Unless you've got $100,000 lying around, I don't see how. What about Eddie's life insurance? The question hits me like a punch to the gut. I nearly dropped the recorder. What about it? Chad asks. It's a substantial policy. If something happened to him... Vivian, what are you suggesting? I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just saying that if Eddie had an accident, especially while he's dealing with this work investigation, it might look like... Like what? Suicide? I didn't say that. But people might assume... I've heard enough. I get up and walk away before I do something stupid, like confront them directly. At home, I listen to the recording 3 times, making sure I heard correctly. My wife just suggested that my elimination would solve their financial problems. She didn't explicitly plan anything, but the implication was clear. I'm not just dealing with adultery anymore. I'm dealing with something much more dangerous. I call Tommy immediately. We need to meet. Tonight. And bring that friend of yours who works for the police department. Eddie, what's going on? Just trust me. This is bigger than I thought. An hour later, Tommy arrives with Detective Lisa Park, a woman I've met at a few neighborhood gatherings. She's off duty but agrees to listen to what I have to say. I play her the recordings, both conversations, including the one from this evening. Her expression gets more serious with each revelation. This is concerning, she admits. The adultery is a personal matter, but the false reports against you and the discussion about life insurance that crosses into potential criminal territory. What should I do? Document everything. Keep recording if you can do it legally, and be very careful about your personal safety. You think they'd actually hurt me? I think desperate people do desperate things, and from what I'm hearing, they're getting pretty desperate. After she leaves, Tommy and I sit in my kitchen, planning my next move. You could just expose them now, he suggests. Post the recordings online, send them to their families, end this whole thing. That's not enough anymore. Chad tried to destroy my career. Vivian's talking about my life insurance. They want to erase me completely. So what's the plan? I think about Chad's financial desperation, Vivian's social media obsession, their arrogance and sense of entitlement. I'm going to give them exactly what they think they want. And then I'm going to take it all away. The final phase of my plan is about to begin. Friday morning brings unexpected news. Ms. Duran calls to tell me the investigation into the anonymous reports has been completed. We found no evidence of wrongdoing, she says. In fact, several clients specifically praised your professionalism and integrity. You can return to work Monday. What about the person who made the reports? We traced the calls. They came from a burner phone, but the information provided was so specific that it had to come from someone with intimate knowledge of your personal life. My wife. I can't make that determination officially, but Eddie, I'm sorry this happened to you. The vindication feels good, but it's too late to save my marriage. That ship sailed the moment Vivian decided to destroy my reputation for her boyfriend's benefit. I spend Friday preparing for the weekend. Chad and Vivian think they're meeting secretly, but I've been tracking their patterns for days. Tomorrow night, they're planning to have dinner at Chez Laurent, the fanciest restaurant in town, probably celebrating what they think is my downfall. They have no idea what's coming. Saturday evening, I arrive at Chez Laurent 30 minutes before their reservation. I've called ahead and requested a table near theirs, claiming I want to surprise my wife for our anniversary. The hostess is happy to accommodate. I'm seated and waiting when they arrive. Vivian looks stunning in a red dress I've never seen before. Chad's wearing an expensive suit that probably cost more than my monthly salary. They're not trying to hide anymore. The recorder in my jacket pocket is already running. They sit 2 tables away, close enough for me to hear their conversation, but far enough that they don't notice me immediately. The restaurant is dimly lit, and I'm positioned behind a decorative pillar. To new beginnings, Chad says, raising his wine glass. To getting everything we deserve, Vivian replies. They toast, and I feel my stomach turn. Have you thought more about what we discussed yesterday? Chad asks. About Eddie, I think it's our only option. Vivian, we can't actually... We don't have to do anything directly. He's already depressed about work. If he had an accident, or if the stress became too much... You're talking about your husband. I'm talking about our future. Eddie's holding us back. He always has. I grip my water glass so hard I'm surprised it doesn't shatter. What did you have in mind? Chad asks quietly. His medication. He takes antidepressants for his anxiety. If he took too many, especially with alcohol... That's not an accident, Vivian. That's a tragic result of workplace stress and depression. Everyone knows he's been struggling. The conversation continues, but I've heard enough. I quietly get up and walk to the restroom, pulling out my phone to call Detective Park. I need you to hear something, I tell her voicemail. Call me back immediately. When I return to my table, Chad and Vivian are gone. The hostess tells me they left suddenly, saying there was an emergency. I drive home, my mind racing. They're planning to hurt me, possibly tonight. I need to be ready. At home, I find Vivian's car in the driveway. She's in the living room, still wearing the red dress, but now she looks concerned. Eddie, thank goodness you're home. I was worried about you. The performance is flawless, but I know what I heard. Why were you worried? You seemed so depressed lately, with work and everything. I thought you might do something. Like what? I don't know. Something drastic. She moves closer, and I notice she's holding a glass of wine. My favorite wine, already poured. I thought we could talk about us, about our future. What about our future? Maybe we've grown apart. Maybe we want different things. She hands me the wine glass. I take it, but don't drink. What kind of different things? I've been thinking about what would make me happy, really happy. And what's that? Freedom. The chance to be with someone who appreciates me. Someone like Chad? Her face goes pale. I don't know what you mean. I think you do. I set down the wine glass and pull out my phone, playing the recording from tonight's dinner. Her voice fills the room. That's a tragic result of workplace stress and depression. Everyone knows he's been struggling. Vivian stares at the phone, then at me. The mask finally slips. How long have you known? She asks. Long enough. Long enough to record your conversations, document your affair, and gather evidence of your attempt to destroy my career. Eddie, let me explain. Explain what? How you've been planning to hurt me? How you filed false reports to get me fired? How you just tried to give me drugged wine? She doesn't deny it. She can't. What do you want? She asks finally. I want you gone. Tonight. Take whatever you can carry and leave. This is my house, too. Not anymore. I've already filed for divorce. My lawyer has copies of all the recordings. If you fight me on this, they'll become public record. You can't prove anything. I can prove adultery, fraud, and conspiracy. Do you really want to test me? For the first time since this began, Vivian looks scared. What about Chad? Chad's business is already collapsing. His clients know about his financial problems. His wife knows about the affair. He's got nothing left to offer you. You did this. I defended myself. There's a difference. She stares at me for a long moment, then walks upstairs. I hear drawers opening, clothes being thrown into suitcases. An hour later, she comes back down with 2 bags and her laptop. This isn't over, she says. Yes, it is. She leaves without another word. I watch from the window as she loads her car and drives away, probably to Chad's house, where she'll find Tamara waiting with divorce papers and a restraining order. My phone rings, Detective Park. I got your message. Are you safe? I'm safe, and I have everything you need to file charges. Good. We'll need you to come in tomorrow and make a formal statement. After I hang up, I sit in my quiet house, processing everything that's happened. My marriage is over. My wife tried to hurt me. My neighbor betrayed my trust. But I'm alive. I'm free, and I won. Tommy arrives an hour later with pizza and beer. How do you feel? He asks. Like I just woke up from a nightmare. Any regrets? I think about that. I regret trusting people who didn't deserve it. I regret not seeing the truth sooner, but I don't regret fighting back. Good, because you saved your own life tonight. We eat pizza and watch a baseball game, 2 friends in a house that finally feels like home again. Outside, Maplewood Heights looks the same as always. Perfect lawns, perfect facades, perfect lies. But I'm done pretending. I'm done being the quiet guy who fixes everyone else's problems while ignoring his own. Chad and Vivian wanted to erase me from their story. Instead, they erased themselves from mine. And that's the best ending I could have asked for.